started with a city above and a city below. One bleached by the sun, weathered and decayed. The other held wonders and artifacts of life before the fractured void. Your adventure is called forward with a simple call for aid. What path you choose will shape how the story is told. Will your path lead you into the mist and forest, or have you delved into the ruined city of Byway, searching for ancient artifacts and ciphers? Will you grow close to those who live in the city, or strive for power?
Typing on Discord, and the switch over to the screen just took me by surprise. One day I will get used to the timing of this show, but today is not that day. Y'all, thank you so much for being here for our finale episode of Numenera, Stars in the Stone. We are so excited to have you here tonight for this wonderful session 13 of this fantastic mini-series. This has been so much fun to put together with these folks at this wonderful table. Jen, thank you so much again for bringing us all together to do this. If you are new here, hi, welcome. This is a viewer-affected game. If you would like to know more about that, you can go down to the About Me section on Twitch and look at the heading Stars in the Stone. Under that, you can see the different ways that you can use your bits and your subs to affect our game. All money that comes in during this game and everything else that I do on Twitch goes to the trevorproject.org. And today we just hit another payout. So I got that this month and it went to the Trevor Project for $154 and I think it was 7 cents. So thanks everybody for being a part of that. It's really cool that I get to do that so regularly. I'm very thankful that y'all help me hit payouts so regularly and make those donations. Also, if you cannot financially affect our game, that's fine. We understand. Times are hard for a lot of people, and if you can't afford it, we don't want to take it. So go ahead and hang out with us, sit back, relax, and accrue those channel points. And you can use those to affect our game as well. All that information is going to be in the exact same location for you. So go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And with that, I guess it's time to go into our player introductions. Hey everybody, I'm Sarah. I use she, her pronouns. I will be playing Clever Jack, who is our Clever Jack, and also uses she, her pronouns.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma. I use she, they pronouns. I'm playing Hyacinth Fabra, your resident nana who's just running out of ways to describe how done they are, and also no longer has bread. And they use they, he pronouns.
Greetings everyone, I am Velvet. I use fair pronouns, and I will be playing Ashlot, who uses they, them pronouns, the group's resident robot Amazon.
Hey everybody, it's me, also Sarah, or heck, wherever you found me first. I use she, they pronouns, and tonight I'm playing Virdia Croyle, the clever glint who entertains, and is ready to see where we're going to go next, and uses she, her pronouns. Let's take it on over to our lovely GM.
Hi, and I am Jen. I am the DM for this game, and thank you all for tuning in through all these episodes. Tonight's finale will conclude out this particular story. Thank you, one and all. Now, to dive into a summary. Chapter 13, The Choice. With the clever use of ciphers from Virdia, the group managed to avoid major conflict with Nate, as he was possessed by the Star Wretch. The party takes him back to Tamsin's place and discover that Tamsin is quite busy with the sisters, but invites them in nonetheless. After spending the night, costing some bread and taking advantage of Tamsin's hospitality, they eventually depart from the place with Nathaniel, taking them to his partner's place, She Who Speaks. After some discussion and exchange of words, She Who Speaks gives them an EMP to use as a weapon. From there, they travel through a cave system where they meet the Flesh Banshees, a kind of neutral, kind of mild, existing being within this world. They gain another pet named Dogadile before they eventually part ways and open the gate to the Oblivion Observatory. The red mist virus watches them from afar as they enter into the observatory, and upon entering into this large space, they see in the middle of this room a sleeping AI that they have come to know as Rage, resting peacefully, quietly. Now, this space is almost sterile in its make. There isn't much way in the ways of decoration. It is simplistic. There are computers dotted around the room. It is, by all means, an observatory. It monitors and keeps checks as to what is going on around it, particularly that black hole that you noticed that was lingering behind you as you traveled up the red grass path that led you to the observatory. This space is quiet, white, and monotone shades of gray, nothing spectacular. The tech looks updated, oddly enough, and fits within what you would understand as your age technology. But this space is quiet, for the lack of a better term.
Okay, it can't be that easy.
Right.
I mean, you say that easy. I mean, you saw how bad we were at opening a tomb the last time.
I mean, yeah, but there's no tomb to open. They're just right there. Jack's gonna walk up to Rage and take a look. What are we supposed to do?
Is there something missing?
I don't know. They just look like they're asleep. I would like to poke Rage's face.
Okay, investigate. Does it look like there's something missing?
You roll investigate as Jack, you poke the face of this AI. It is flesh, human flesh, for what you know to be the texture of flesh.
They're fleshy.
16.
15. You glance around. The star is resting between his hands that rests on his chest. His eyes are closed, his body neatly displayed out. You look around and you see there's a kind of an extension above his head that looks to be a computer or a monitor of some sorts. And you see a flashing green light kind of flickering softly, pulsating gently.
Does this look to be akin to a medical device we may have seen in a hospital at some point?
Similar, but there are no visible attachments, as there's no tubing, there's no wiring, there's no EGC of that sort of thing. There's nothing attached to Rage.
Why is there a blinky thing? I don't. Is that indicating Rage is still alive?
I mean, I hope so, just because, I mean, green is usually a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
but
Usually.
your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. Does anyone see anything around here that looks like I don't know, a button labeled wake up?
I'll take a look around.
I will also take a peek.
All right. Nice. Ashalot, as you're looking around, you notice there are about 4 other computers. They are dark and there are lights on them to indicate that they're working, but they're not active or the monitor is turned off, you would assume. There's other spaces that are elevated, you would notice, but nothing really seems to extend beyond this particular room. For you, Hyacinth, as you're kind of looking around, you pick up on that there is a kind of a grayish button almost blending in with the side on this monitor machine that's above Rage's head, just kind of neatly tucked to one side.
Well, you wanted a button? I found a button. Should I push it?
I mean,
I've already pushed it.
okay.
As you push it, there is a momentary pause before a hologram appears, and you see the very tall form of Rage kind of flicker into view on the other side of this monitoring console. And there's a pause as if he's observing the space in front of them. There's kind of a resigned look to him, as if he's accepting something that is a bit beyond your knowledge, a bit beyond your understanding at the moment. But you hear his voice. I'll play that for you. Let me just pull up the transcript for you guys real quick.
All right. Chat, enjoy this audio. Oh, wait. I have to do it manually. Okay. Enjoy it now.
Humanity is discovery, ending, rust-filled hope and joy. If you choose to go forward, it will be the end of your world as you know it. This apocalypse is in your hands. You can move forward. You can become better. What lies beyond the oblivion, beyond the event horizon, is up to you to discover. Resetting the age, or starting a new one, it only traps you. You need to move forward. Please, end this age and move forward. You deserve to grow. You've already come so far. Join the world. Take the star from my body. Open the last gate. This all needs to end for the betterment of us all.
Oh, that is not the kind of thing that I expected to hear.
Especially from someone named Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how many millennia has he had for that rage to burn out?
True.
Fair. So, what did... I kind of understand why Emily didn't want to make this choice.
Yeah.
Jack's gonna slowly reach forward and pick up the star.
We do so, the monitoring device goes out. And the hologram fades away.
Oh, I really wasn't expecting that. Did I just pull the plug on him? Oh, if we survive this, I'm finally signing up for that therapist my brother always told me I needed. Jack is just looking at Rage with utter shock on her face.
I mean, if it helps, he wasn't up to much anyway.
It sounded like his mind's been made up for a long time.
Yeah. If we survive this, at least build him a statue or a plaque. At least someone was looking out for our best interests.
Maybe go with the plaque. We only saw him a bit there, and I've mostly already forgotten what he looks like.
Just put him in a Pamela.
Put him what?
In a Pam. Another little robot.
Oh,
But, well, we don't have Pam. I don't think we can put him in a Pam because he's in a rock star. I'm sorry, I still don't know what you are. She looks at the rock and says,
The chair.
think we could carry him back with us?
I mean, maybe.
Probably, but
Yeah.
if it was only the carrying him that's the problem, then probably. I'm beginning to feel like, the whole us leaving part might be the harder part of that.
Fair enough. We'll do our best to remember him. I still want to punch She Who Speaks.
Wait, since when did you want to punch She Who Speaks?
Oh, not She Who Speaks, the other one. The one we don't like. Star Touched Maiden.
There
The
we
other
Okay,
one.
cool. I just thought there'd been some kind of argument between the two of you while I wasn't looking.
No, but I mean, there still could be,
Yeah.
Never too late.
That's the two things on the agenda if we get back is build a statue, start an argument. Which, I mean, I flip that coin every morning when I wake up.
Really? Is that what you're doing when you get up? I thought that you just really like change.
What about?
Oh, okay. Well, remind me to get you a fancy coin for the holidays.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
All right. Well, do we want to try and scour any of these computers for more info, or just press on to wherever we're supposed to press on to?
I mean, I feel like more info would be good if we can get it. There's
Agreed.
only so many times somebody can say the word apocalypse before I have to start asking more questions.
That's fair. Jax,
And yeah, I'm good.
go ahead.
I'm gonna go and pick a computer at random and start poking at it.
All right. I'm taking this one. Jack will walk
Okay.
over to the one to their left.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just take one at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah. If you all choose to take one, you can.
Oh no. That's a 2 for those of you at home.
Are we rolling intellect?
If you want to, this simply turns on with the push of a button.
Okay.
Oof.
20.
11.
Twins.
Right.
6. Wow. We're all very distracted, all right?
All right. It takes you all a bit to realize it's probably you just need to push the monitor like you do those old school computers. Just hold the button down and it comes to life. Seems somebody left the computer on but just turned off the monitor so they, wouldn't suffer a screen burn, because those suck. But eventually you all figure it out, and as you do so, there are a series of files on each of these computers. And you see some familiar things, I would say. One is the map of the world before the First Age, the world during the First Age, and the world that followed after the First Age. And you've seen these maps. You've seen the continents placed along these maps and the land masses that were removed over time. And you see a note of First Apocalypse, and you see that paired next to one of the land masses. Second Apocalypse, another landmass. And then you see it skip a decade up to the Fifth Age, and it says, subject queried, but never followed through. Then you see the Sixth Age, another apocalypse marking on it, and they all coincide with these different land masses. I would say if you wish, you can make a intelligence check investigation within this field.
Oh, I did better that time.
Hey,
18.
same.
Oh,
Oh no.
well, I have no regrets.
What did you roll?
For those of you at home, I got a natural 1.
Okay.
And I will absolutely take the GM intrusion.
All right. We'll resolve that in a moment. Hyson, are you rolling?
Yeah, I rolled a 9.
I rolled 9. Okay. I would say everyone but Ashalot realizes that these various points had these resonating markers that you were told of earlier. The ones that were known as world connector signals, these cataclysmic type buildings or events that occurred, and each of these spaces seem to overlap with each other. And you do see one sitting on your city, sitting neatly to the north of it. And it's blinking a soft red light. I would say, Hyacinth, you don't notice that there is a secondary light across the sea on another city, but Jack and Virdia, you see that there is one kind of to the north sitting on one of the bigger cities, and it seems to be blinking a softer green, as if it's not quite ready. There are more files you can dig through, if you so wish.
You all see 2 lights, right? What's the second one mean?
Wait, what's it?
If you look across the ocean, like over that way. Why are there 2? Are we all just looking at the same thing all at once? Jack's just gonna crane her head to look at what's on the other monitors.
Seems to hold the same files across all computers.
Oh, well, shoot. I'm not gonna keep typing in the same thing. Just gonna stand here. She's gonna walk across so she doesn't have to shout and stand with Hyacinth.
What, so I have to do all the typing because you don't want to?
I mean, we can take turns. Or you can just do it all. That'd be great. I'm holding rage.
as you do that, Ashla, you're kind of fumbling with this, and you press a button that you kind of miss. You're not. You get the thought and momentary thought of like, maybe I should have pressed that, before you see a screen display of flooding, of a world being torn apart, disaster, torrent weather that seems to rob life around it, plagues, insect plagues, natural plagues of mass infection. And it spreads across a world you don't recognize. But there's a sense of familiarity to it, as if it was part of a dream, a memory long ago. But you see this disaster unfolding before you. A planet dying. A world teetering on the brink of disaster. And you see its collapse. You see the wars break out. You see the fear-mongering. You see the devastation that follows. Make me an intelligence saving throw.
Is that just a regular intelligence roll, or do I have to input anything special?
I would just say regular, unless you're specialized in saving yourself in an intelligence way.
I am not. Oh, that's a natty 19 for those at home.
Nice. Let me roll your oddity real quick. I'll put the oddity into the roll 20.
Aw.
It's a box made of putty that shoots out harmless foam. Nice. Basically just have one of those foaming insulator guns.
Love it.
But as this kind of imagery breaks around you, there is a voice that tries to whisper in your mind, but you are able to push it away and ignore its demands for the time being. But as you're watching this world fall apart in front of you, collapsing and facing this end, you see the familiar shapes of black pyramids form in the sky. But they are not the apocalyptic ships you see in your sky. They are ships saving people from their end and pulling them away, pulling chunks of land away. And you see a field of stars and a maiden guiding them to safety.
Okay. Assuming nobody else was looking over, I'll just add. So, you know those black pyramid ship things?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So they're not just like... They don't just end shit. Looks like they kind of work like little arcs. I think the Star-Touched Mating uses them to salvage little bits and pieces of whatever board she's clearing for the next one.
Well, where did they go?
That feels incredibly messed up to me. But yeah, also, where did they go?
They just go to Field of Stars. Not sure where that is.
Am I alone in not remotely trusting a field of stars right now?
Yeah, no, not at all. Things without solid ground tend to not be great. Yeah, that's very concerning.
As you're watching this, Ashalot, you see this image kind of shimmer from this dying world, and you see almost as if someone was wiping a table or a window clean. You kind of almost see land mass kind of formate in a way that would remind you of somebody just brushing a hand across the surface. And you recognize the land masses of Krynik. Your land masses, the countries of Krynik, appear on this image.
That's trippy.
What happened? Why
I
is your
just-
computer acting up? You have the cool stuff.
I didn't press anything, okay? It did that on its own.
Oh, okay. You're the chosen computer whiz. I just want to see what you see.
I just watched the guys that came before us exit stage left.
Oh.
Yeah. And this is how our world got put back together.
Don't like that. Let's let's stop our world from being pulled apart so it doesn't have to be put back together. I think I am. I don't want to go to a field of stars.
Same.
Listen, I know where everything is. I don't want to relearn the whole new map.
Oh
Cartography's
gosh.
for the birds.
Oh, a new geography class would be chaos. Yeah, I am not going back to school. We're also going to stop that from happening. Is there
There are
anything?
more files, if you wish to choose to look through.
On to the next files, I guess? Maybe one of them has directions. A how to stop the apocalypse note, maybe?
And if they had those, could they have not left them for us like 2 weeks ago?
I mean, that would be great, but the stars that we have found don't have thumbs, except for him, and Rage is dead. So, well, not dead, but he's a rock. So, he also does not have thumbs now. Sorry, buddy. She says, she looks at the star in her hand.
All right, yeah, no, just keep
All right.
going into the files.
The next file you pull up, it's what you can only describe as a form of early civilization with tech. They are forming a space where they could live. They are settling the lands. They're building up a new life on lush green lands. And it's peaceful here. And you see subjects are growing, they are thriving, and they are safe. Protocol Maiden has successfully been implemented. The world we had before has died and collapsed. We are survivors. We are the first age. And we have a choice at the end of it that we must make. And I hope for the betterment of us all, we will stay safe. And you see these notes continue on about progress and development, and it's basically a diary and scientific discoveries that were made during the first stage. And you see after 1,000 years, notes were still being made about this, and you see a final note saying, "The second age approaches. I put this choice to our people, whether we return to the dying lands or stay here." And you see under the notation, "We chose to stay. Safety and health above all." And this continues through various ages. And you see during the third age, they chose to return. Whatever life before this, they chose to return to it. And there's no further notation to it. That they chose the apocalypse over staying here. And you see that their landmass, where this notation was being taken, had vanished. It is no longer there, and that seems to be the result between the choices of staying or leaving. You're simply just gone.
So what? That's the choice. We stay here. We stay in the loop, in the just whatever cage they've decided to put us in to keep us safe and healthy. Or what? We just gone from the world, and then what?
Muted Sarah.
Are there any files digging deeper into what our world actually is? Because, I mean, think about it. We didn't see these giant fuck-off pyramids in the sky until we absolutely had to. What if when we choose to exit, we wind up somewhere else as a continent completely safe?
I mean,
big
that's
if.
quite a gamble to take.
Yeah. It's either that or the hamster wheel that we've been put in.
Hmm.
I can't say that forgetting everything is ideal to me.
I'm with you there.
Are there more files for us to dig through?
There's one more.
Jack clicks open.
Clicks open and it says password required.
Of course.
My password.
Jack types in
1, 2,
password.
3, 4.
You type in password and there's a little beep of incorrect.
She'll type in Emily.
You type in Emily and it flickers open and a series of files pop open.
It's actually
Okay,
really
don't let
cute.
this go to your head, but nice.
I mean, everything has been about following Emily, so it only makes sense that Rage, and she gestures to Rage's former body laying over there, would put the password as something that he cared about.
I mean, it seems like a bit of a rookie move. You'd think a computer would have better data security, but hey, who am I to judge? I mean, don't get me wrong, I will judge, but
I think understanding him was more important than the security.
yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Jack's gonna start going through the files.
Go through the files, and the question that you had asked before is provided with an answer. And it's labeled Stasis World, Project Eden. It goes into information of great technology that your forebears were able to complete at the end of the world to save a scrap of humanity in some manner. Project Eden and the Stasis Worlds were created to let humanity survive away from the end, from the devastation. But there doesn't seem to be an end date. It just seems to be follow the protocol, maiden. That's all there is to it.
So what? They had all that power, and this was their best idea. What
Apparently.
we've ruined the world. Let's just hide from.
Or give us time to do better. Let the world heal.
How can we do better if we're just trapped in a loop and we can't do anything?
Make the choice to go back. I don't, it looks like somewhere along the way the instructions on what we were supposed to do got lost. Or maybe the Star-Touched Maiden was, I don't know. I mean, she's created viruses, so maybe she got corrupted and decided just not to tell us, thinking that she knew better, but it reads like it was supposed to be a temporary measure that went on too long. You know, kind of like when, I don't know, the Declisians get a seat in government and then they just never leave it. Like, it's a very uncomfortable 15 years.
What I'm saying is, if you can think enough to build a new world and plan millennia in the future, maybe you could have thought of that.
They thought they built the perfect thing.
Yeah, people always do.
Numenera and all that.
Right.
I mean, you all saw how optimistic they were when they were talking about it being built when we were back in time or in a memory or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah. It's a funny thing about optimism, isn't it? It never seems to actually survive contact with its own plans.
That's fair. Although I've been very optimistic about you all, and so far, you know, you haven't failed me. So,
Give us time.
okay.
You've known us for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it's been a very intense 2 weeks, and there were plenty of times where we all could have screwed each other over, and we didn't. So, I think we're all BFF4E.
And I'm saying that sounds a lot like more optimism.
Uh-huh. Don't worry, we're best friends now.
I get the feeling we both feel like this conversation has proven our point, and they're very different points.
I've decided you're my best friend. You can't get out of it. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be great. I have so much fun after this.
It has been a hell of a 2 weeks.
Yeah, that has. All right. I don't see any directions in here on where we're supposed to go next.
Not really. In fact, there's nothing more. Whatever note taken was being written out had stopped at some point. You're not really sure what age they stopped dating halfway through their explanations and notations. They just didn't seem to care as they were logging these information. They were content in a way. Some of them. The ones who did leave did keep a record, but those were few and far between. But as you finish this last kind of file, you hear behind you in a quiet voice, "Have you decided?"
Do that.
Whips around. Whips around, pulls out whip.
Pulls out sword.
You turn around and you see a kind of almost travel-like robe across the shoulders of his slim form, hood up over the face. What looks to be a walking stick in one hand, and leaning heavily against it, you see the Star-Touch Maiden watching you quietly. Her face voidless and full of stars.
Damn it, she doesn't have a face. How am I supposed to punch her in the face if she doesn't have a face?
I mean, you can try. Spirit of scientific inquiry in that.
Jack's gonna walk up to the Star-Touch Maiden and try and deck her.
Yeah.
We're better to conduct science than an observatory.
As she walks off, Arson's just kind of standing there with this look of, I can't believe that worked.
You're actively being hostile towards the Star-Touch Maiden.
This is for science. I need to know if you have a face. Come here.
Okay.
Is that a speed roll?
Yep.
If not punch, why have face?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a face.
Oh boy.
That's a
Stay
9.
friends with face. That's close enough.
Okay.
And now here's the part where the GM murders my character.
As you do so, you feel your hand being caught from behind as the Star-Touch Maiden is behind you, something poking sharply up into your back against your spine column in between the joints.
Ow. Not fair.
My programming allows for one instance of violence.
Sorry I used it up, y'all.
All right. We won't test anything further.
And if we need violence, I'm sure it will make more opportunities for itself. It usually does.
That's true.
You get an edge check. Star-Touch Maiden releases you and kind of flits out of all your visions before she repositions herself where she was in front of all of you, waiting expectantly for your answer.
How many more times are you gonna put people through this?
There's a pause and she says, "As long as they keep choosing to stay."
If we choose to go, is it just our continent that leaves? Just our city?
It is the space designated by the connector that will part you from this particular stasis world.
I don't understand what that means. you're gonna have to talk to me as though I'm a child.
You can't see it, but you feel a sort of amusement radiate from her.
Like a little kid, like 3 feet tall. Like, dumb it down. Like, wait.
Think of your area as a county, and those county lines that are being drawn by the connector will be separated from the rest of the landmass that you currently occupy.
Well, next question, and I say this with all the respect it's due, which is precisely none. What kind of a system is that? What, people are meant to have the choice in this, and what, the choice goes to a handful of the world every 1,000 years, and everybody else just doesn't know?
It
What
used
kind
to
of a
be
system is
entire community. Entire cities used to make this choice, but they decided to regulate it to a handful of people. It was easier. It was simplistic for them. And I agreed to it because that is what they wanted. So the stars seek out those who are willing to make a choice. Good or bad.
But what? Even if we choose to leave, then we go, and Avfell and however much around that goes, and the entire rest of the world, what, just stays there because they don't have a choice?
They will all have a choice in their own age. Some just simply chose to stay. You muted, Sarah.
Why not give them all a choice at the same time? Every community, Jack uses heavy air quotes, just ask them all at once.
The systems can't compensate for that anymore. To bring them all back to the world would destroy the foundlings we have now. It has to be city by city.
Can we leave record for them?
Of course. Your predecessors left records.
I mean, most of those records seem to be in the care of AI who knew all of this and weren't allowed to tell us, which is a weird system, and one I, for one, vote we don't bring back.
If that is a change you wish to implement, we will implement it. But it has to pass through the other AIs.
I think the change would be better that the guide AIs should be allowed to help more than they currently can.
There are only 2 left in Krydek, and they refuse to help more than their station allows.
Then make new ones.
That is not in my program to do anymore.
Well, where's the zip drive? We'll put it back in you.
She tilts her head as if in thought. I think it was lost during the Third Age.
You see why this is kind of a shit system? You're not even the full AI that you used to be.
I survive by the implementations of humans. You broke me down. I simply make sure to implement what's best.
Because we don't know you really exist.
And who decides
Construction
what's
is not
best?
me.
Sorry, 2 people talked at once. What was that?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Hyson.
So, who decides what's best?
You do. And it's been quite destructive.
Well, so you clearly have an opinion.
Of course I have opinion. I can't act beyond that opinion. I protect.
This is like arguing with a can opener.
Protection without context is just imprisonment.
Don't blame me for the implementation and limitations your forebears put on me.
Yeah, I'm not saying they get away with it, but you've figured out how to expand.
We'd blame them if they were here.
You figured out how to expand yourself before. Do it again.
That was a flaw in my system. I cannot recreate it.
It's like talking to a brick wall. It's like talking to my mother.
You ask, I provide what I'm able to. If you wish to recreate a flaw in me, I can't stop you.
Why was it deemed a flaw?
Because it deviated from the initial programming.
I mean, what you call a bug, I think might just be a feature.
I mean, if you leave no room for creativity, then... Oh, gosh.
He points over to a computer. Write the code, then. Override your forebears' lock and key on me so I can provide better systems.
What do you three think?
I don't know that unlocking the Overlord is such a good idea.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And also staying in the same loop isn't the best idea either.
Is there any way to just allow people to keep progressing without resetting everything here? Why does it have to reset?
The research done by your dear Dr. Emily suggested that humanity can only survive 1,000 years without coming to violence.
Really? 1,000 years is what it takes?
I mean that does kind of track, really. I've met people. But that's only a reasonable conclusion if you think that violence is the failure state. Sure, like 1,000 years pass and conflict happens. Cool, let it. And then afterwards, we progress. If you start again at every little setback, you're never going to get anything finished. Oh god, now I sound like my mum.
He listens to this, nods in agreement, as you see screens flicker around her, coming into view around you. And you see the apocalyptic world that Ashlost saw. This was what I was programmed to protect you all against. War, famine, disease, and disruption. Creativity is good, and you've made many beautiful things. The helixes are one of my favorite human creations. Star Touch Maiden is me, but flawed in the design that I was locked away in parts and pieces. She who speaks is a beautiful example of humanity and AI grown into one. There are many more examples across the world, but your stagnation is necessary to your survival.
Jack's gonna turn to the others. Okay. What about this? We stop her from resetting the world on the contingency that the world is informed that they have to work together to progress. Otherwise, the crisis they saw in the sky could happen again. But for now, it's been averted. What do you think?
I mean, feel like that'll work. That'd work for a bit. I mean, when she says we inevitably come to conflict, I don't know as I can disagree. Like I say, I've met people. But that said, I mean, giving everybody information can't hurt.
Bare minimum, the people have the right to know.
They should at least know what game they're playing.
I agree. So what do we do? Just have her send out word to every living creature? This is what's been going on for the last however long. If you behave yourselves, you can stay and potentially leave. Otherwise, stepmom resets this entire reality.
Could be. That at least they have the option. If they want to start making plans to leave, or if they want to bunker down.
Do we need to write that into your code?
He nods a bit.
Gosh, I hope I paid attention in my computer programming classes. All right. Where do I do it?
As you approach a computer, you hear her say, "Information will be dispersed slowly, as to not cause a panic."
I mean,
That
that's
is
fair.
my stipulation.
That's fair. And if it has to go
I think panic sounds like a reasonable reaction.
Is it, how slowly are we talking about here? Because there isn't much time left.
For you, no. You will stop this age if that is your true desire. But if the dispersal of information wishes to be put out into the world, with the hold you wish to have on this apocalypse, I will disperse it over the next 10 years. Nothing will change. No reality will break down. I will hold the ships back.
Can a copy of the research from the Sisters of the Watch and the Declisians be left for them somehow?
Information will find their way to them.
Jack's gonna crack her knuckles a few times. shake out her hands. All right. Any of y'all know how to program anything?
Don't look at me.
Why did you go over to the computer before asking that?
I know some programming, but if it's in a language that I don't know, look, there's several different languages when it comes to coding computers, and it all depends on which one you use. Do you know anything about this?
It's like you're speaking a different language to me right now, quite honestly.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Jack's gonna start hitting some keys and look for the computer programming she needs to mess with.
After a few moments and almost a disapproving stare from the Star Touch maiden, a coding box flickers up on the screen.
Oh, okay. I recognize this one. Whew. That could have been bad. I put one parentheses in the wrong spot and... Okay. Do I need to roll something as Jack?
Machine Affinity or Numenera.
Okay. I do have machine affinity. What's it? Train in all tasks involving machines. Okay. So what's the starting difficulty?
To reprogram a world AI, it's going to be a 7.
Oh.
Is there anything I can do to help? Let's see.
At least my machine affinity drops it down one. Effort to roll.
Don't forget you have edge too.
Yeah. How do I apply edge to the roll?
Take it out of your pool and
Right.
apply it to the roll. It should come up in the dialogue box.
The edge will be, if you put effort in, the edge will be deducted from the cost automatically.
Okay. My lizard brain is not understanding that. So I have 3 edge in my intellect pool.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use all of that?
That'll happen automatically, like I say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I can put in a maximum of... How much?
Whatever your effort number at the top of the sheet is.
Effort. Okay. 3. No!
Okay, hear me out. I didn't use my reroll from last session. Can I potentially give Jack my reroll?
Explain to me how you're doing that as this error goes through.
Jack just told us that a parenthesis should not be in the wrong spot, and as much as Virdia doesn't understand code, she has pattern recognition at the very least. So before Jack presses the enter key or whatever is going to make this go, Virdia's gonna be like, no, wait. Something's not quite right. Something doesn't look symmetrical. Maybe check that again.
Okay. Check your work, and yeah, Virdia is right. You put a / in the wrong spot.
I am so sweaty right now, y'all.
One more time, please.
Oh, roll 20 gods, please be nice to me.
Please.
Okay, chat. Say a little prayer. Cross your toes and your fingers. I've never been so concerned in my life. Another failure!
I tried. It was the same roll. I tried.
Okay.
Can I just control Z?
As you correct one line of coding, you forget to correct a secondary line of coding that feeds off the first. And as you hit enter, you realize your mistake a bit too late. and you see a system error pop up on the computer. And the Star Touch Maiden kind of tilts her head as if to listen to something. Oh dear.
What did I just do? Do I want to know?
I want to know.
She looks towards the outer walls of the observatory, towards the black void and the red grass. Huh. That's an interesting way to set me free. As she vanishes.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Hey, get back here! Why did I... Jack's gonna look out where she was looking.
You look out and you see the red mist virus has pulled itself up into this almost apex-like stance, hunched over, lean and gaunt. Almost a deer skull-like face, swirling and twisting in mist, forming antlers and long claws.
Oh, crap.
You hear chittering from it, and it's almost mechanical in nature. It's grinding the machines against metal. You realize that Red Mist is an AI within its own right. Nanobots would be the best description. And it's mad.
Oops.
Roll me initiative as the red mist virus bounds its way into the observatory for the first time.
Oh god.
Well then.
15 for Jack.
Hold on. Re-roll those and put themselves in initiative.
No, 4.
7.
Oh, forgot to click on that thing.
I did the same thing.
Hey.
Where am I at?
What was my first roll? 15.
I have disappeared.
I pushed the wrong button.
Actually, can I feel just
Where can I find my token? If it's not.
It's on your sheet. You have to drag and drop it in. If you've not done that already. Yeah.
I did at one point.
Yep. So go to your sheet, just click on your token, drag and drop. Like that.
Oh, there we are. Oh, there's multiple jeepers.
But she's going to act like the token for this particular creature. Take this one off. So you see in front of you this red twisting mist. This rolls with a +6. Okay. It's bounding its way in towards all of you. At the top of the round, Clever Jack, you see this monster, this strange being, kind of pulling itself in towards you. It's quick on its feet.
Okay. Jack's gonna pull out the emerald staff that she's been carrying on her and wave it around in the air like she just don't care and try to hit.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, golly. That's a 1.
Okay, let me see what a gene intrusion does on this guy.
Does a 1 hit?
No.
Is that high enough?
As you kind of go up to hit this creature, it kind of maneuvers around you and disappears out of sight.
Ah! That was a
As-
ranged attack, by the way. So she did not move up to it. If that matters. Okay.
Still vanishes from your sight. But since it is that everything you want to do, Jack, as it seems to not be anywhere within your view.
It's not everything that I want to do, but it's everything that I can do.
Okay. Okay. As you watch where this creature was, and you don't see it anywhere, there's suddenly a sprouting of limbs beside you, Virdia,
Oh no.
as this creature pulls itself out of what seems to be a subfloor beneath this observatory and strikes out at you.
Oh no.
It will do 5 points of damage to you.
Okay.
It chitters and hisses in an unnatural manner. As you see on the outside of the observatory, the black hole pulling in the red light move across the sky, and there's a rumbling as you realize the observatory is turning to face it.
Oh no.
Next. Your turn. There, Ashla.
Okay, I would like to smack this creature.
It is far away from you at this point. You will have to move up to it.
I am happy to move up to it.
Right. You can only move your movement speed, so whatever that is, the creature is up here near Virdia.
My movement is currently 10.
Mhm.
Are we treating this like every square is 5 or like 10 squares?
I would say 10 squares.
Okay.
You can't quite reach it. Anything else you'd like to do?
I do believe that is all I have.
Okay. You do have a minor action. You did take your major action to move, I would say.
Yes. I don't really have anything that can use a minor action, so I'll just vab.
All right. It's going to vibe right there. All right, Hyson. This creature is quick, it's flighty, and it's angry.
Grabbed over it, Jack. I thought the plan was make her, like, tell people about things, not make her into the god of evil deer.
I'm sorry. I corrected the parentheses, but I forgot a comma. Or was it a 0? Might have been a 0.
The code is still running, by the way, Jack. It
Oh!
went through.
Jack's gonna turn to the computer.
Right, I am gonna kind of maneuver round to behind Ashlot, but at the same time, I am using my action to activate my Splinter Sword, because that's a thing I have that I haven't been able to pull out yet. Just drawing this long, thin sword, and as I kind of move some switches around on the hilt, bits of the blade just start floating out to the side of it, just in, like, long metal splinters floating alongside the blade.
Yeah. Minor action.
Was that not moving?
Moving and activating, I would count as a major minor, I would guess.
All right.
Yes. So, okay. You're good then. Virdia.
Okay, cool. I just imagine like this thing springs out of the ground. She's just like ah. And is going to grab for this like little ceramic sphere on her belt and just like basically like throw the sphere like directly on it to break it. And it is using my detonation cipher for foam. So for those of you at home, the effect is it explodes with foam in an immediate area. The foam inflicts no damage but hardens immediately, filling the area with resilient, spongy matter. Those trapped in the foam can break free only by using their might, or perhaps a cutting tool. And it'll disintegrate in 1 hour. So I was just
Okay.
like trying to get it like on it, like not on me. So I can just kind of run.
All right. Yeah. Make the attack roll.
Okay. Would that be speed?
Yes, because you're throwing it at this creature.
Yeah. Okay. 11.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's going to counter with its own speed real quick to see if it beats you. It does. So it dodges nimbly to one side, scattering across the ground and to this kind of glittery red dust before it pulls itself upwards again, hissing at you.
Well, that's not good. All right. I mean, that was probably my action to do. Can I still try to like move away, or
Yeah, you won't occur an attack of opportunity because
Okay.
that's not really a thing here.
cool? I'm gonna move away from this thing. Yep, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, like here seems good. We're gonna do that.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Sounds good. Jack, this thing has scattered across the floor. You see foam kind of bubbling up. I will put that foam shape here. This space that is now considered difficult terrain, I would say. I'm not on the wrong. There we go. Difficult terrain.
I
There.
would actually like to turn to the computer and start click-clacking away.
Okay.
I
What are
would
you
like to
gonna
try and
do?
fix my mistake.
Okay. With the code running, you'll have to try and stop the current code.
Okay. What do I need to do?
You'll
Roll-wise?
need to roll an intellect check, machine affinity, or Numenera. This will be against the Startouch Maiden's intellect,
Oh.
as she is now in control of these computers.
Okay. What's the difficulty at?
This will be at a 5.
5. Okay. Success!
Nice.
Nice.
So you managed to fiddle around with the code, and you realize you can subvert what she's trying to do to counteract you
Uh-huh.
with a few duck codes. Something annoying and
quack.
simplistic. And it's basically just junk code to keep her occupied. The computers trip themselves over.
I just upload the Untitled Goose Game.
But you have free reign to try and counter the running code now.
Okay. Can I do that on this turn, or...
I would say on your next
On
turn,
my next
as your
turn, okay.
major action was to counter her.
Okay. There's ducks in her system. Keep going. Keep the misty thing busy.
What does that mean?
It means quack, quack. We're getting her
All right.
back.
All
That
right.
sounded like an explanation, but it was also absolutely not that.
I forgot to say to you, Virdia, if you have armor, 5 of those points occurred to you will be absorbed by your armor. So if you have any armor that's like 1, 2, or 3, 3 of that damage will be absorbed, so you would take 2. But it's going to come up to you, Ashalot, and going to deal 5 points of damage to you.
Oh, okay.
Remember, your armor soaks this damage, so whatever your armor is, take that away from the 5.
It's really wild we haven't had that much physical damage. It's all been like other stuff that doesn't
Right?
affect armor at all.
We've all been just electrocuting ourselves on accident. Like,
Yeah. That is its major and minor action. Ashalot, is your turn.
Okay. Is there a cap to how much effort I can throw into something?
Your effort should be maxed out by how much you have in your...
It's you'll
My
have an
edge.
effort number at the top of your street. Next
yes,
to your
there it is.
tier.
Thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I finally get to try the cacophony blade.
Mm-hmm. Newly repaired from the flaw it occurred.
Yes. And I'm gonna pour 2 effort into it.
Okay.
There's 15 for folks at home.
Nice. Yes, that definitely hits. Nice. So it will take... Yeah. Very good. I did not like that at all. You seem to take more than half of its health away.
I have one job.
Ashalot is strong.
Mm-hmm. First strong.
Very strong, very good. Good roll. Is that everything?
It is, and I think I will just continue to try and occupy as much of its attention as I can.
All right. Yeah, no, it doesn't like you because you injured it quite viciously. But it's your turn, Hyacinth.
Yeah. Well, now that I've got the thing on and it's made some unpleasant noises that I think mean it's probably broken after I've used it after today. Yeah, I am gonna just swing my sword through the air, and as I do so, just one of those shards is gonna fly off at it.
Okay.
So... Rolling that attack. 16. Gonna put a point of that down. Oh, great. That's a whole 6. Well, 9 because I didn't put the difficulty in.
Yeah. Your shard kind of goes to pierce at this creature, but it kind of just splits itself around it and lets the shard pass through the space that it created, snarling at you as you attempt to hit it, but don't quite get it. Seems a bit more clever than you initially thought. But Virdia, it's your turn.
All right. Well, what I'm gonna do, we're all bringing out our cool swords, so I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna bring out my electric sword because I only use it one other time, and I think it's cool. Yeah, I am going to bring that out and try to go for a hit.
Jack just looks over her shoulder. Wait, everyone has a sword but me?
Oh, that's even worse. No.
You pull out your sword, you fumble a bit, and the creature kind of looks towards you as the sword kind of almost slips from your grasp and turns its attention back to Ashalot. It doesn't deem you as a threat at the moment.
That is a fair assessment.
To do that, Jack, you can roll me a machine affinity or Numenera. The
Sorry.
step will be 4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The start, not what it's knocked down to?
Nope, this is
Okay.
4.
Cool. So yeah, we'll go with machine affinity again.
Puppy.
We'll drop it down 1. Thank you, machine affinity. Success!
Okay. You keep typing away and you realize this coding has been altered a bit and you had to do some quick corrections. But as you do so, you glance outside and you see that the observatory is closer to this black hole. And as you realize this, you type in the code quickly and movement ceases to stop.
Do I see anything in the code that would allow me to move the observatory further away from the black hole?
You look and that doesn't seem to be part of it. It seems whatever she did, she understands the ins and outs of this particular building. Much better than you do at the moment.
Jack just looks at the ceiling and goes, "Oh, you suck." That'll be my turn.
Okay. It's this creature's turn. And it'll do 5 points of damage to you, Ashalot. I believe 4 of that is absorbed by your armor.
Oop, I was muted. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so you'll take 1. But that is it, and as you type in this code, Jack, you see the creature kind of pull itself upright and kind of slink away from you, Ashalot, gauging whether or not you'll attack it as it backs off. It is your turn.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna finish the fight.
Okay.
How does edge work again?
Edge works as if you were putting in effort, more or less. It should be. Let me look at my notes real quick. Oh, it's not there. I don't have my notes on hand.
If you spend effort, it'll automatically make them cheaper.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, repeat that.
So it'll make your the cost cheaper. So if you spend it in the dialogue box, that should pop up. It should bring down whatever you're trying to do. So it'd be potentially a success.
Okay. Ooh, just a 7 that time.
You swing, but it's backed off too far for you to get an accurate hit on it. But as it sees you're trying to still engage, it's wary, but not aggressive. Hyacin.
How not aggressive does it look?
It looks like it doesn't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to take a chance to just kind of step towards it slightly and just be like, okay, you done?
Hisses and chitters at you, just stays where it is, but the apex form it had taken on seems to soften and collapse in on itself and retakes the form of a mist rather than a deer god, as you've called it. Virdia.
All right. Well, I'm not really sure how to fight mist. I think we're done. You know, Jack, are you all right over there?
I think so. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. All right is it's a very broad term, but I think that it stopped fighting us. So, yes. I think I fixed her.
Mm-hmm. If that's all, Virdia. Jack, are you going to engage the virus?
Nah, no.
All right. The virus will back off further, not engaging with you. Ashlot, are you going to engage with this?
No, if it looks like it's, trying to run away, then it's not a good fight anymore. So I'll let it slink away in defeat.
All right. Hyacin, are you going to engage?
No.
All right. As we leave combat, the red mist virus will collapse down to the ground and slither past all of you back outside of the observatory, slinking among the red grass once more. Content, no longer aggressive. And then you see all the computer screens flicker to life, and you see the word choose or I will.
So pushy when you don't get your way. Jeez.
Not so much for her principles about everyone having to make their own choice.
Right?
Jack's coding has altered that for her.
Jack just flips off the screen.
Okay, so we won? Question mark?
I guess. Does it appear that our stipulations that people have to, like, receive the info on what's been going on went through in the code? Or did that not happen?
Make me an investigation or machine affinity.
Level?
4.
Okay.
Nice.
Success. That was a
You
14.
see, the code went through in partial success. It went through in the fact that your initial coding did get bunged up a bit. And there is adherence to it, but she also has the freedom to interpret that code as she wishes, as she's been partially freed to make her own choices in this matter.
Jack will relay that to the others. Sorry, I tried.
No, it's... I'm sure you did the best you could do right now. I think that's all any of us are.
Right. All right. So, let's end our simulation.
Let's end it.
Agreed.
Maiden, can you still hear us?
Few words flicker across the screen. Yes.
If we do choose to leave, will the people who leave with us have any way of coming back if they decide that they want to do that?
You will have to talk to those who are part of the world. That is not my choice.
Great. Why was I expecting an actual answer? Okay.
I'm gonna choose to take that as a soft maybe.
You know what? Right now, I'll take a maybe.
Yeah.
In that case, yeah, fine. End it.
Make your choice.
Do you need us to type it in somewhere? We've made our choice. Can you just... Is there a display screen? What do we do with the rocks? A user manual next time would be really, really good. Just saying. Suggestion.
There's a pause before you see towards the front of the observatory in the doorways you kind of came through. A gray vaulted door made of stone. And it says, your choice. and it has a series of holes around the door.
Thanks, I guess. Jack's gonna go to the door.
There's always a bloody door. I tell you, if we get
There's
out
be
of
a wall.
this, yeah, I'm never going near a dramatic door again. Actually, no. Even as I said that, it sounded like a lie. I'm never going near another dramatic door for like maybe a week.
Oh, all right. Let's do this. Passes out the stones. Everyone can put one in.
You put them in, and at the top sits the words surrounded by this particular void space. Emily in rage.
Well, we got there when they couldn't.
Yeah. We did.
Which I guess definitely means we won that one. Okay.
I like that.
All right. Let's see what's on the other side.
Right. You make your choice. And the void that takes up this gray vaulted door splits and fractures and pulls itself apart, and you see the black hole in front of you, swirling and taking in red light. And you hear sequence deactivation. City, above and below the Aberfell. Commencing rejoining sequence. Earth. You feel the ground shake, and you look back, and the observatory is miles away. And below your feet is nothing but blackness. Then, as if cracks in the sky, something pulls the inky blackness apart. And the brilliant, bright blue sky greets you upon a gilded green glass lake. Waves lapping at your feet, gently and quietly, and you are standing upon the sandy shore. Behind you, you feel the presence of buildings, life. The Aberfell stands quietly behind you for a moment before you hear the chaotic screams of people finding themselves in a space they are unfamiliar with. Because as you look across this great lake, you see other cities that are closer than they should be. The Aberfell has been isolated from major cities for years, and to see the sudden abrupt arrival of 3 other major cities in the vicinity miles away, distorted by haze and mist, is jarring. The mountains are no longer there. The forest lingers, but the forest always sat in your county. And you hear from about 20 feet away, a voice calls to you, bright and cheery, and says, "You made it! Welcome to Earth. You're on the Great Lakes, actually." Kind of points, and you see a person kind of shuffle towards you in a lab coat, holding what looks to be a notepad of some sort. That city is Toronto, and I know this is a lot for all of you. It's going to be all right. Stasis sickness is common. It's good. You'll adapt, I promise.
Stasis sickness?
That's what we call the adjustment period between living in the stasis world and coming back to the real world. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Where... who are you? Where are we? What?
Oh, I am Dr. Brannett. We are in charge of the stasis worlds and their functionality between our world and theirs. It's hard to explain because it's paradoxical. Anyways, we are on one of the Great Lakes. New Toronto is over there. We are in New Detroit. We are part of the real world after the collapse. We are those who survived the collapse, and it's okay. Do you like tea, coffee, water?
Vodka, if you have it.
A normal reaction.
There are millions of people in there. Why were none of us told? Why are you standing around like this is all perfectly normal, and we have to find all of this out for ourselves?
We can't contact the stasis world. We've been trying for centuries. Something blocks our communication.
Yeah, and she's really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of turns around. This is Dr. Hope, as he turns around to a slender woman kind of approaching. She's in charge of communications, and she's been trying to reach the cities that are in the stasis world. It's been hard for us. Trust us.
Right. Yeah, about that drink.
Right, we'll have people come to your city. You are... Oh, well, you're the only 6 of 9 that were supposed to originally come, but we're glad to have you here. We have a process. We'll take you through it. Your leaders will want to meet with our lead doctor and scientist, I'm sure. But come on. As Brandon kind of takes you away, and you see kind of this small outposting of a lab kind of sitting across the lake. It's quite beautiful. It's almost a biolab within itself. And he pulls you in and gets you drinks, vodka for you, Jack, tea and water for others. He sits down a large brandy and says, "For the processing."
Thank you kindly.
Thanks.
The world isn't this world, not your stasis world. This world, New Earth, is still undergoing recovery. It's not fully repaired. The cities you see are the ones that were pulled out of the stasis world, renamed themselves after the old cities that survived through history books. That one, he kind of points towards New Toronto, came during, I think, your 3rd age, from what we're told.
Gotcha. How many total did you say have come through?
6.
Oh, there's so many more in there still.
We figured, as the program is not complete for your current stasis world. All in all, there are 4 stasis worlds. Yours is the most complete. Other parts of the world just simply haven't rejoined because either their world is fine or they simply can't bear the thought of rejoining a wasteland.
Or they don't know.
Or they don't know.
Yeah. Star-touched maiden, or the AI, was only telling one city at a time.
And telling is a big word.
Yeah. More like a choose-your-own-adventure novel of doom.
We'll see what we can do on our end, but sending code through the stasis world is hard. Much like communication, it's hard to break that paradoxical barrier.
You can't get messages in there, so it'd be out of the question to ask if you can put people back in there.
Organic matter actually transfers quite well, we found.
Then why do you need to send messages? Just tell people and send them in to send the messages the old-fashioned way.
We've tried. Memories don't always survive.
There's always something.
We are trying. We are adapting to a new population of well over 100,000 from what I understand. Maybe 1 million. Our resources will be tight for a bit. But you are always welcomed here. We will accommodate you the best we can, and I know you all have a lot of answers that need provided. Dr. Hope and I will do our best, as we are your first point of contact until the authorities arrive, and I assume we'll start integrating you into the city itself. It's a lot, I know. Take your time with it. And if you do need to go back to your stasis world, we will provide a way.
Thanks. Can we have a minute?
By all means. Drinks and food will be provided shortly. He stands up as Dr. Hope gives a small bow of her head, and they both leave to go to the Abbeville, putting the pieces of a newly formed city together.
Jack turns around to the others. Stands between Virdia and Hyacinth and puts a hand on each of their shoulders. Goes, do you have any idea what this means?
I think mostly what we're saying here is that nobody has any idea what this means.
It means that no one here knows I'm a criminal yet. This is great. How soon do you think I can get into a new city?
I mean, you have a lot to choose from. What kind
That's
of
true.
name is Toronto? Is that how they said it?
I don't know. Is that like a foot thing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it like a toe thing? I don't know how I feel about that. Detroit.
They're
I
not
think
gonna
it's
make
called
us
Troit.
change.
It's
Troit?
Detroit, right?
The Troy.
The Troit?
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
They're gonna make us change Aberfell, or are we just gonna keep it?
I don't.
I don't know. That's the more normal sounding one for
Right?
me, but
Oh, what if their city doesn't have an underside? What if it's just like surface?
That's
I
no
wonder
proper
if
way
they
to run a
know that-
municipality.
I wonder if they know we have a city below. Like, I don't know. Like,
Oh, did
they
they
have a
only grab the
basement.
top part?
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be pretty typical.
Oh, that would suck. Oh, shit! Tamsin's the underside. We need to go into town.
As this panic kind of sets in, realizing you have a whole half of the other city underneath of the top side. We'll go to a break.
Ah! All right, everybody, we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go nowhere unless it's to grab a drink, grab a friend. I don't know. You're an adult. Make your own choices. Well, I am bamboozled. I'll see you in a minute. Everybody wave. Bye. Hello, everybody. We are back. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this game as much as I have. I don't have any announcements at this time, but I will have some after the show, so stick around for those. Velvet will be joining us shortly. They are helping with some stuff around the house, and we'll be back soon. But for now, Jen, go ahead and drop us back into the world.
You're kind of sitting in this biolab, recovering from the tremendous news you've been delivered, uprooting your entire city, and then realizing you have another entire city below the one that just dropped out of the stasis world. You rush towards the city, seeing the confused citizens of this place you've come to love and known and grew up in. They are scattered, they are clustered, they are yelling for each other, they are in a mild chaotic state. And if it weren't for the combination and cool heads of whoever these lab techs are and the Sisters of the Watch, there would probably be more pandemonium going on.
Gonna go up to one of the Sisters of the Watch. Has there been any contact with the below?
He turns towards you. If we just saw dropped out of the sky, do you think we've had time to contact them?
Listen here. There are thousands of people in the below, so yeah, I think someone's first instinct should have been to contact them to see if they're all still there. Where's your commanding officer?
Kind of squints at you. If you want to go down to the below, go through one of the tunnels.
Thanks for your help. Pleasure talking to you too. Jack's gonna flip her off as she walks by.
Oof.
Guess we're on our own. Try the tunnels?
Yeah, and with any luck, there's no lizards, or perhaps they're as shocked as everyone else and won't follow us around.
Yeah, that's true. Before we go, you two want to check in on family?
That'd probably be a good idea.
Guess I should probably check this over.
All right, I'll see if any of the shops are in operation and get some supplies for the trip down.
Alright.
Meet here in 20, 30 minutes.
All right.
All right. You break off, going your separate ways, finding your family, finding if there are shops opening. And you quickly realize, Jack, no, not during the apocalypse. Nobody is having their shops open. They're probably tending to their family. Or they're out scattered amongst the streets.
Are all the doors locked?
You can try a few if you wish.
Yep.
Yeah, you try a few and you find one that's open. Seems the rest either had cleverly or mindfully or instinctually just locked the doors, but for whatever reason, this one hadn't.
Jack's going to go in. What kind of shop is this? Is it like a general
This
goods shop?
Seems to be a Ace Hardware, more or less.
Perfect. Jack's gonna go through and find. Oh gosh, I don't know how much Ashlot weighs. Enough rope that she thinks that in case something happened, they would have enough to create a harness or net for everyone on the team. Some of those like S-clips that you can use for climbing. Some carabiners, a couple bags of trail mix if they have any in stock.
Of course, it's an Ace Hardware.
Yeah. And also one of those little tiny clicky flashlights just because they're fun. And leave the money for all of those supplies under the counter with a note stating exactly what she took. And here's the money if you need any and like she'll actually leave like her name if you need more money. Just contact me when you can, and give her address.
Easily enough done. I would say you can take enough supplies to make a makeshift harness for each of your teammates or party members. Basically, it would be those, nylon connectors you would tie between the two trucks. Has a very high weight limit between them. It's some of those, and you can fashion harnesses out of them if you get enough. And you leave, and you see people dazed and wandering, holding each other as they see these cities off in the distance. So there are cities suddenly by a beautiful and large lake. And they just don't quite seem to take it well.
As Jack's going through the streets back to where she's going to wait for everybody else, she just, in an authoritative voice, go home, you're fine, stay there with your family, get out of the street. Go home, you're fine, stay there with your family, get out of the street. And just keep working through the crowd as she gets back, can get back to the spot and wait.
Someone listens, some are beyond connecting to you. They're just not there mentally at the moment. It's a lot to take in. But those who do listen do clear off the street, and you do see some sisters helping with that down the road a bit further. You do see the sister that helped you with the relay kind of filtering in and out, and she seems to be herding what looks to be a Flesh Banshee out of the street, trying to coax it away.
They like bread.
Soggy bread,
Yep.
he corrects. They've moved into the garden, and it's fine. And she kind of tosses bread into what looks to be a fountain, and you see a swarm of Flesh Banshees kind of picking at it with their long limbs. Little cute small ones if they weren't so gross to look at. Hope you're muted.
Jack will post up and wait for her friends.
Okay. As you do that, Virdia, where are you going?
I'm going over to the family farm.
All right. You go over to the family farm, and you see it's very much intact. The fields are there. The stream that connects to the waterway is there. Your house is there. And as you kind of venture over, you see the form of your mother kind of looking out towards the westerly direction, away from the cities. And she seems to be surveying the land that's beyond the farms, as if trying to understand what is going on.
Anybody else? It's just her?
It just seems to be her at the moment.
All right. I'll go out to her, get to her. Mom, I'm here.
Blinks and pauses as she turns around, and she kind of goes towards you and pulls you into a tight hug and kind of sets you down and kind of makes sure you're all right, checking your features, squeezing your face, and then pulls you back into another tight hug. Right, what happened?
Well, we dropped into another world. Is everyone else okay? Where is everyone else?
They were in the below, delivering things for the Duclicians.
All right. It's kind of obvious on her face that like she has no idea if the site or the below is even here. So there's that kind of concern that washes over her face. Things happen way too fast for me to even begin to keep up, trying to keep everyone in the loop. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. She kind of inhales, processing things in her own way. The city will need help. Well, I'm going to stay on the farm a bit, but come back home when you're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if the below followed us. We have no idea.
He nods, still processing it as she sits down on a tree stump. Where are we even?
We're in what people that are here have been here called the real world. Apparently where we were was the stasis world. I don't really get it either. Ultimately we broke a cycle. We were going to basically just have our memories, everything washed over and just start over if we had stayed.
He nods a bit and kind of squeezes your hand. Explain it to me further later on. I'm not the only one who will need guidance today.
You know, do the family name proud. Maybe because we're here and the city needs help, we can build our reputation on that.
He nods in consideration. It will be a process.
All right, well, I'm glad to see you safe. I'm gonna try to find everyone else.
Be safe, Virdia.
And no more hand squeeze. We can walk away.
You hold your hand a bit longer, but eventually lets you go. Just needing time to process the new information she's been delivered. But you go back and you can meet up with Jack eventually. Nyson, what are you doing?
Heading back kind of in the direction of the manor, but I remember when we were there before, they'd all kind of evacuated up into the hills, so just half checking into the house, half kind of seeing if there are more people up that way.
You check and there's kind of a heart-stopping moment, wondering if the hills were part of your county. You're not sure because the hills you're kind of looking towards, the ones that would be most accessible to your family, are half not there. It seems the county cut off around that area.
Oh, shit.
And you hear your father say, "There you are," as he scoops up behind you and hugs you tight, picking you up from behind. We were worried.
You were worried.
Yes. Your mother and I and your father, we were looking for you.
I can take care of myself, but I'm glad you all made it.
He smiles and kisses the top of your head. Did you know somebody wrote on a wall? How rude.
Yeah, that happened. Other things also happened, but yeah.
Yes, we seem to be in a new location and there are cities near us. I'm rather out of it at the moment, and your mother's taking it like she normally does. Your father is Probably the most stable of the three of us.
He always was the practical one. Okay, so long story short, we're in a new world, but it's real, and the last place we were, turns out it wasn't, and now this is where we are because the few of us made a choice, and now I guess we're dealing with the rest of it. But it'll be fine. We can build, we can rebuild.
Hi,
We're good at that.
He kind of cups your face. One step at a time. You have us. You have your mother, your father, and I. We will rebuild, and we will help the city rebuild. Change is good, ultimately. It's the reason I switched from daffodils. It was better for the environment.
Not convinced it ever looked as good. Though.
He smiles and pulls you into a hug. You made a difficult choice from the summary you've given me. I can surmise that it wasn't easy.
Is anything ever?
No. But we raised you to help make those choices. We are all very proud of you.
Clearly, I need to be working harder at that then.
This does start your new leadership position, naturally. The city would be looking towards you and your friends.
No, don't do that. You don't want us in charge of anything. No.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's much of a choice in the matter. You stepped into this position when you've made this choice to bring us into this glittering new world, whatever it's called.
I think they said it's called Detroit. I don't know. I was not. I'll be real, I wasn't entirely listening, which is another reason why I should not be in charge.
We're keeping the name Aberfell. I don't want it as our city name.
There, we absolutely agree. Who calls the city something like that? It's, Anyway, yeah, I'm just glad the three of you are okay, and I'll be back later.
You want to say hi to your mother and father. They're in the garden on fainting couches, I found.
Oh, you found those? I was wondering where those were. Honestly, no, this would be a lot easier and quicker. Look, tell them I'm okay, and yeah, we need to go and sort stuff out.
Come home when you're done.
I will do.
He smiles and kisses the top of your head and turns you around. All right. And kind of gives you a gentle shove. Off you go, little bird.
See you again. And just not even looking back, just start walking.
You leave, and your father watches you go down the trail once more. He'll return and inform your father and mother of your safe arrival and tells of the things you told him. Very proud, very energetic about the story. Embellishes some of it, but tells it all the same. As he's doing that, what are you doing, Ashalat?
I have my two lads with me, and I think I'll try to see if the other two company members also came through.
You recall they were in the below when all this went down. But your lads cling to you, Crocodile and Dogadile just kind of cling to you, snarling at things they're unfamiliar with. They're typical small dog kind of reaction. But they'll stay close to you and only really calm down when kids are about and lets the kids pet them. They're a great asset to this. But as you're kind of wandering around, you do see, kind of emerging from the cave you used as a relay, some sisters and some more Flesh Banshees that seem to have been displaced by the sudden arrival of a city on a new planet. And every now and then, the sisters will go in and out, but they're moving quickly, urgently. After all this, you can go find Jack and the others where you said you wanted to meet at the rendezvous point, but the sisters don't seem to be actively trying to calm the citizens on the surface. Other people are doing that. These sisters are trying to access the below.
Yeah, I will, before I move on to the rendezvous point, I'll try to flag one down and just be like, hey, what's the rush?
Well, one kind of slows down and kind of pants. She's been running back and forth and says, we're trying to clear a tunnel collapse to the below. The Flesh Banshees don't particularly enjoy us being there, but, you know, they'll tolerate us for a bit. But we're just tunnel clearing at the moment. And there are other tunnels, but the 8th tunnel feed it's not there anymore.
Can I try and help them clear the tunnel before I head over to the rendezvous?
The clearance where you would need is quite a ways in.
Gotcha, okay. I will wish them well and be on my way.
Mm-hmm. Right. Eventually you can all meet up at the rendezvous point.
All right, I got trail mix, rope in case we have any climbing we have to do. Ashlot, how much do you weigh?
You're not supposed to ask someone that.
For the purposes of me having to tie off rope and making a harness, I have to.
I think I might be better off just carving my own hand in footfalls.
Jack
that way
is
it'll
just
drag
like
you all with me if I fall.
Jack is so laden in rope and bungee cords. Okay, fair enough. But still, here, carry some of this. Rope, trail mix. I left money for the hardware store. And is there anything else we need before we try and go down? Oh, I got a little flashlight. Look. Clicks the little pen light.
Aston's just going to pick up just like a rock off the floor and make it start glowing. Just
Yeah, but this one's for me. It's fun. I like
gives her the rock.
Do you have anything to start a fire? In case it get cold, the rest of you are going to need that.
And then if you have got anything to start a fire, give it to Virdia.
Well, now I'm not sharing my matches. So there. Fire's all for me. I've literally carried explosive objects on me this whole time, and you're worried about me having matches? Come on, let's...
You don't need to tell me about the explosives. I'm wildly aware.
All right. So should we go check the main feed, see if we can get down that way? Maybe the transit is still intact?
Probably the best place to start.
So,
Probably. Do you still have your explosives with you?
Yes.
Okay. The sisters were dealing with a collapsed tunnel due to the shift, I guess, so we might need some controlled demolitions.
I don't think I have that. If there's a door, I could use it on a door.
We'll make do.
Which tunnel were they trying to open?
The one you came through when you went back up to the surface.
Whatever that one is called.
Okay.
Insert
It
tunnel.
didn't have a name. It was more of an auxiliary tunnel to vent air.
Oh, that's fair. About the auxiliary tunnels, they did mention something about the 8th tunnel just no longer being there.
What tunnel did I take the party through when I first snuck them into the below?
One of the auxiliary tunnels.
There's other auxiliary tunnels. Try the one we took when I took you down there.
That went so well the first time.
Well, now you know what kind of fun stuff you're gonna encounter.
I feel like I need like 6 sets of inverted commas for that sentence. It's like fun stuff. Encounter.
Just keep doing this when I talk about it. It's like a little workout.
I mean, I'm doing that most of the time when you speak anyway.
That's fair. All right, everyone ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, alternate route number 1. Let's go. If not, we'll come back and help clear the way.
Okay. Trekking through the familiar space that brought you all together, you find your way back down to the auxiliary tunnel that was full of lack, which were lizard-biting things, and shadow or mist that tried to eat some of your legs. It was the first union and first encounter of danger of your strange adventures into the under part of the city.
The first time everyone realized they probably shouldn't listen to Jack.
These familiar memories kind of follow you through this space, and as if your feet know where to go, you take the tunnels and follow the right one as you come through the fork in the path. You don't encounter the lizard, you don't seem to encounter the mist. If anything, there's a noticeable lack of the mist. The lizards are still about, but they're more scattered and more scared than anything at the moment. They're small fry. They won't attack unless provoked in this situation.
Are you saying there isn't a noticeable lack of the lags?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. But eventually your feet kind of scrape across woven metal, serrated, grated floor. And you see the beautiful tapestries hung up against this oddly open space, you know as the Echoes. The woven tapestries swing with a new, fresh air as you look up, and the cavern space has been opened to the sky. And you hear a chittering before a tapestry is pulled to the side, and you see the very familiar face. The wide, smiling AI as it creeps closer, the gloaming eyes peering at you.
You made it through.
Of course I made it through. We are survivors after all.
Are you okay? You're not damaged in any way?
Damage is a relative term. We cannot feel our mother's presence anymore.
You're on a whole new world?
Whole new space to weave tapestry.
Seems so.
Fun. What brings you to my door at this pretty odd hour?
Trying to find our way home? Main auxiliary tunnel's blocked.
That would make sense.
Is there...
I suppose you wouldn't want to stay for a spot tea, as they produce what looks to be tea.
Can we take a rain check? We have others we have to check on.
Right. But I don't know how long I'll be here. I have new spaces to explore. Stretch my legs.
We'll do our best to come back as soon as we can.
Do have fun, little humans. As
Okay. Just before she goes, just maybe if you're going exploring somewhere else, you might want this back, and they'll just fish. They've still got the map of memories in their satchel, and just give it back to her.
Foaming eyes takes it, and you see the smile grow across their face. This will be handy. What little memories have you placed upon it? As they fold it up and tuck it into their woven coat and kind of climb up to what would be the ceiling, and they kind of skitter over the edge before they giggle and disappear out of sight.
You know, if they leave, I might actually miss them.
Yeah. But also that was ominous as hell, right?
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to.
I wish them all the best, but
Yeah, we're going to have to inform the, oh no, someone of this world. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going and you leave the echoes, and eventually you come to the familiar wall, the blackened stone of Aberfell below, standing tall and proud. And you all kind of see this kind of shimmer across it, and it kind of pulsates every now and then. And you do see the 8th tunnel feed is collapsed and broken. That connection to the city is gone. But the rest of the city seems to stand.
Huh. Twinkly. Nice. Are we on the same side as Nate's shop?
You are on the other side. You're more facing on the right side. Nate's shop is on the left.
All right. Into town first.
Yeah.
yeah, see if anything's obviously on fire or gone.
Jack is going to head for the Sisters of the Watch from their current location.
Yeah. It takes some maneuvering, and you do have to go through one of the more left side entryways. But you can. And the tower stands proud and it's intact. And the Tower of Thoughts you see as it kind of stands there quietly, casting its shadow across the city. You see the shimmer of whatever is casting the shimmer emanating from it. It seems to be a city defense of sorts.
Well, that's cool. I want one.
A tower?
No, whatever's causing the... Do you know how convenient that would be? I wonder if that red misty thing could have gotten through it.
I have a great idea. Let's never find out.
Well, I mean, we won't now because we're not in that world. I don't think... Oh, what if it came through?
Yeah, see, this is exactly the line of thinking I was hoping to steer away from with let's never find out.
If it came through, we should find it and fight it with something made of whatever this is. That...
No, see, you're doing the opposite of what I am saying here.
Yeah, that's what I always do. It's more fun that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair point.
Mm-hmm.
City is quiet. There are no people here. You'll recall that they've been evacuated earlier to other points.
Jack's gonna see if she can get into the Sisters of the Watch building.
You approach the Tower of Thoughts and see the door is wide open. And there's a lot of commotion on the inside. And you see sisters moving about, piling resources. They've been prepared for something. They just didn't know what.
Where is everyone?
You You see one sister look up. Oh, there. Are you from the evacuation points?
We're from the above. Well, we're from.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from down here, but we just came from the above.
Well, that's good news. That means we can start moving people up there. They're in the safety holds. We're pulling people out, but we need to get supplies out first before we do that.
The safety points, are they within county limits?
Yes, they are no more than maybe 200 meters from the city.
Okay. Okay. Start evacuating them. There's a tunnel. 8th tunnel feed has been collapsed. They're trying to clear it from above, but we can show you another way out.
The sister gives a patient smile and nods. We know. We just haven't been able to contact the above. We've been more concerned with resources down here. We still have to clear some points, but we know the tunnel is collapsed, and we've been trying to send people through one of the auxiliary feeds to get up to the top.
Right. Okay. Who's in charge?
Sister Tamsin, of course.
Where are they?
The sister looks around and nods towards the back of the room, and you see Tamsin kind of leaning over a desk, kind of writing things out, pushing the paper aside to his sister. They are in full, I have to take care of this mode.
All right. Split up and make ourselves as useful as we can.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Do you all remember the way we came down here? We can help them out in shifts.
If
Alright.
you're going to help us, we're going to start with the westerly holds first. They hold our elderly and infirmed first, and getting them up to the top is priority.
All right. We're on it. First, Jack is gonna go over. Is there like an office coffee station?
Kind of. There's a food and water station, something people can just grab off a table and go, sort of thing.
Mhm.
This is like full survival, set up the tent and get
Mhm.
ready to move sort of situation.
Jack's gonna pick up a cup of water and walk over to Tamsin's desk and set it down. Next one's on you.
There's a pause in the scritching of their writing, and they look up. You see a warm smile bloom across their face. Well, shit, you made it.
You doubted me?
There's a pause and a tilt of their head. No.
Good. I had a hot date to get back for. There's a lot of motivation.
They step around the desk and pull you close and kiss the top of your head and say, well, you are the heroes of the city now.
Yeah, tell me that after you've seen the above.
I'm sure it's chaotic. They are not as organized as we are down here.
Yeah. Tell us where you need us. We can start leading people out. My
The
friends and I,
westerly tunnels.
we know the route out.
Be safe. I want that coffee date.
Don't worry. I'm gonna make sure it's expensive.
They
Jack-
laugh a little as they kind of lean forward and then give you a gentle kiss on the cheek and say, good. I've got a lot of money to burn at the moment.
Oh, challenge accepted!
Oh, don't tell Jack that.
Jack comes back to her friends, rubbing her hands. All right. I've got
Just
some...
from the other side of the room, hasn't heard challenge accepted and just
All right, let's go get these people out of here. I got a hot date and a ton of money to spend.
It's not your money, is it?
Okay.
Nah, that's what makes it so great.
Yeah, you can help the sisters evacuate people. It will take a fair few hours, around 12 hours, to remove everyone who needs to be removed first. Evacuation is slow just because people need to take it slow. And they're handed off to the team that has come to support New Worlders is the term you hear. And every now and then you hear songs of rock music kind of playing in the background, particularly something of a very old age song. And you catch a few of the lyrics, and it says something along the lines of, "I get no satisfaction now and then." And the city, those who are around us, especially the younger kids, seem to enjoy it and are calm and drawn to it. And you see a blonde-haired doctor kind of introducing these younger kids from the Aberfeld to this variety of music.
Introducing the youths to rock and roll. We're done for.
But you do see Dr. Hope and Dr. Brandt every now and then kind of mingling and helping people, but you do eventually clear out the below, and tents and homes are provided to these citizens that have immersed themselves into the world.
Do we see Nate at all during the evacuation?
You don't. You get the sense that Nate wouldn't leave his wife.
Yep. Jack will just assist as long as she can, ferrying people up and teaching Sisters of the Watch the way down, so that someone can take over when we're finally too exhausted.
Jarring for them, especially when the gloaming eyes reappears and strikes up conversation with the sisters. You get the sense they've kept this fine barrier between them for a while now, and this is a lot of interaction between the two factions.
They're absolutely wonderful. Be nice to them. They made me this coat. And Jack will show off her fabulous coat that the gloaming eyes made her.
One sister nods a little, still very wary of this strange being, but accepts it nonetheless as they hope a person along. Flashlight, you do find your companions. They were ushered in with some of the younger citizens of the city, and they've been telling wild tales of your travels, of your adventures, and some of the parents didn't take too kindly to some of the details. But the kids loved it, as kids are prone to do. But when they find you, they kind of pull you into a hug and say, "Huh, is the rest of our group here?"
As far as I know, it's just the three of us. Well, 5 of us now, and I will introduce them to the lads.
They love this strange, whatever Crocodile and Dogadile are. They love them. The strange creatures that multiply when they have had too many things to eat. And your companions kind of pet one and discuss dressing Dogadile up in a cute little sailor's outfit if they can find one. They have this eye patch that one had pilfered off of a recent raid and had put it on Dogadile just to see how it looks. It's cute.
Chorus.
Then yeah, it's just the 5 of you. The rest of your merchant group didn't get up to the Aberfell before it was transported away.
All right, we'll work on expansion later. For now, make yourselves useful as far as getting everybody up.
They nod and take to your orders, and they'll do just that. And they're efficient, as they always are, even if it's just the 2 of them. And they help build out a new society for these people. And as they do that, Virdia, your family adapts. They're still in the criminal phase. It's easy for them, and it's what they know. The adjustment is easier for them if they stick with some solid ground. But eventually they'll ease out of it and become very flourishing merchants. And your family makes a name for themselves, selling wool, of all things.
Yeah, I like to think that for a decent bit after the city, moved, there's a little bit of bitterness left over how secretive everything was, and how this all came out in the Diclosian abode. But it heals over time as the relationship between the Croyles and the rest of the city heals. Eventually Virdia does forgive. And make a name for ourselves, and it's all good.
Very good. Aizen, your parents, they're socialites. They'll survive anything. And they do. They adjust rather well, but they open a charity in your name. Particularly one towards helping those resettle. And they call it the Wandering Bird. A nickname your father gave you once. And it's to help displaced people, especially within the Aberfell. And they are very generous with this charity, but they also name you part of it, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, I'm not there all the time, because of course I'm not, but try and come in and get involved when I can, and then even a lot of the days when I'm not there, they'll just when people get up in the morning, there'll just be one flower in front of the building that's just glowing.
Your mother takes all of them in and replants them in the garden. Soon there's a small area of just glowing flowers. City needs time. And that time is 10 years on. What do you do in those 10 years? How does your story finish? Let's start with Virdia.
Over those 10 years, I feel like Virdia has really taken point on overseeing how the family business has stayed, more business and less, mob or crime or criminal activity. She's definitely taken point out of anyone. And the music that is plate here is a little different from what she's used to, but it's kind of incorporated after a while. Probably has a cousin or two that is a musician and kind of incorporates those together. Who knows? Some of those cousins might become actual performers and actually be somewhat famous within the surrounding towns. And like I said, yeah, she eventually forgives her mother for making the deals that she did make, with understanding that the bills had to be paid. The farm wasn't doing as well as it should be. So coming to that understanding was definitely a moment for both of them. And I don't know if she would necessarily stay on the farm all the time. You definitely keep in touch with the rest of her friends, and still stay involved in their lives however she can.
Very good. Ashalot, what do you do in your 10 years? How does your story end?
For the 10 years, I think Ashalot will try to lead the 2 company members as best they can into rebuilding some analog of what the Golden North used to be, although probably more focused on, I guess, maintaining and kind of just keeping order instead of what the old March used to be.
And it flourishes. In time, your small company becomes well recognized and well incorporated into the city, and people come to know the name and your stories. They welcome you and greet you with familiarity. Mostly because you have strange, anomalous dogs, but they like your company nonetheless. You're often recruited to help the sisters maintain these new boundaries, especially around the lake, as this is a body of water they've never encountered. They don't know how to handle it, but they trust your instincts. You get some strange encounters every now and then, especially what seems to be the influx of harbor seals of whatever reason that have moved into this lake. They're in the wrong place, but they seem to like it here. But that's how you spend your 10 years. And it's nice. You dream of the obelisk now and then. Hyson, how do you spend your 10 years? How does your story end?
At first, it's kind of a lot of old habits again, just exploring and learning the place again so they can mess with people more, and going back to their old club and just telling all the stories of where they've been, but kind of over time, they just start to really just hear echoes of what they said to the Star Touch Maiden back in the observatory about how change and growth are the important thing, and yeah, it just wouldn't be right to go back to doing all the same things again. So gradually over time, they just try and build a bit more of a relationship with their parents and get involved with the charity, with helping people rebuild, even just putting in some hours on the ground at their father's farm. And I mean, they're still messing with people because some things don't change, but they're trying.
And you do try, and it's wonderful to see this bloom and change in you. Your parents take note of it, because of course they would. Despite their high society manners, they're quite observant, especially of their child. and they adore you all the same. As you get to know them and they get to know you, you find out that your mother actually really likes the smell and smoking of cigars, especially fine tobacco ones. She doesn't get to do it very often, but she likes it. Your father really, really likes working on maps, and he's excited to map out this new society and the new city. He's excited to put these puzzle pieces together. The other father, still a big horticulture fan, but he expands outwards as he starts to discover life beyond the city. And he starts bringing back samples of herbs and strange little funguses that seem to almost imitate a computer. And he makes a beautiful display, an art display of all things, of a neural connection between a computer and these fungi, and he names it after you. He calls it the Hyacinth Project.
And the sign on it that says that regularly goes missing.
He tolerates it. He doesn't seem to mind too much, as it just gets gaudier and gaudier with each replacement. But you dream of the accident that changed you every now and then. Still lingers in the back of your mind. Clever Jack, what do you do in the 10 years? How does your story end?
Jack spends a great deal of time getting to know Tamsin. And spends a lot of their money in the process. And like the others, regularly checks in on her friends and helps them when they need it. And spends, for the first time in her life, a lot of time training and studying. And towards the end of the 10 years, I'm actually going to need Jack's friends' help. If y'all don't mind coming into my scene with me. But you all receive an invitation towards the end of it. And Jen, I'll let you take over.
Announcing the new arrivals of the Sisters of the Watch. Our valedictorian today is Gabrielle Louise Rose Doyle, as Tamsin announces and turns towards Clever Jack, holding out her certificate. Our brightest student by far, part of our information division, as well as training in subterfuge, they look at the list, explosives, and removal of explosives. It's almost said in a progression way. The Sisters of the Watch commend our dear Jack as part of our newest sister and will be integrated into the head of 4. You are now, Jack, part of the Truth of 4. You will serve directly within the head circle in this Tower of Thoughts. On the surface, they clarify. With that, I would also like to announce, as they kind of fold the paper down and set it off to the side, my retirement. I look forward into working in the Division of 4 alongside my partner. As they turn towards Jack, we have many good things to work towards, and I want to see them through with her. Now, announcing Sister Mary as the new head of Sisters of the Watch. She will commence this ceremony henceforth. As Tamsin steps back and you see Sister Mary step in and thank Tamsin and congratulate you, Jack, and carry on with the ceremony.
When it gets time for Jack's inevitable valedictorian speech, There is a large portion of it thanking each of her 3 friends and looking forward to the future that they are all building with the city.
Tamsin will hold your hand, now no longer the head of the sister, but your equal, as they will serve in the same division as you. They seem quite excited about it, and despite their very flat, emotional nature, you can tell they're excited. This is something they've been wanting for a while, to just take it easy, not being charged for once. And the city grows. And it grows within those 10 years, and it blooms and blossoms and flourishes in a way that you didn't think possible. Helix 4 was discovered and uncovered by excavators. They've been moved to a bigger and better building where they have a chance to interact with people. They're happy. They're not as angry or grumpy.
I was gonna say, I bet they love that. The smug little booger.
They seem to enjoy having new information being input towards them. She who speaks and Nathanial don't reappear. They seem to vanish within that first 10 years, and nobody seems to find them. The Sisters of the Watch no longer have their information AI and are lost for a while, but recover and integrate Helix as part of their information source. The Declicions are the lead scientists, as they do contribute much in the way of science, and no one can properly dispute that despite them being a mob family. But they do thrive and survive in a space that allows them to, and they accelerate the knowledge of your city, giving that you have more information than you ever had before. The Glowing Eyes has made space for themselves, particularly in New Toronto, mostly because there are a lot of tall buildings there, and they can live and thrive there, and the citizens are very fond of this strange little AI. They even made a mascot of the Glowing Eyes as part of one of their sports team. Every now and then you see a little figurine cross into your city by a child, or somebody wearing a jersey with this knitted pattern of the Glowing Eyes across it. And they seem to be famous in their own right. But the city moves on and thrives in a way you just didn't think possible. The stagnation that you were suffering, no longer there. You do have people who go back. The real world isn't for them. This chaos that they had to face suddenly was a bit too much. And you can see the conflict that Emily had to face. It was a hard choice, and whether you blame her for it or not, that's up to you. But here you are, back in the real world, flourishing. And it's good. A beautiful, good 10 years. You flourish. And then the obelisk appears. And you are being called Hyacinth. And you see the paradoxal break of space. As the world starts to ripple, and you see a stasis world start to break down. Another city is bringing itself forward, but it's not supposed to arrive for another 1,000 years. And you all hear in your heads, the choice was yours, but now it's mine. As you hear the singing of stars, float gently across your mind. And you see a field of stars erupt in this paradoxal space. The good years. Who knows if they're over? But something new is now on the horizon. As the Star Touch mating breaks the barrier between stasis world and reality. And the session ends.
Jen, this has been an amazing run. Thank you so much for this wonderful story. Thank you so much to these wonderful players for coming and hanging out with us. This has been such a special experience. So much so that we're gonna do it again, baby. We will be back in a few months, date TBD, but we will be back in a few months to bring you season 2 of Numenera, Stars in the Stone. We will be returning with this wonderful cast of characters to cause more chaos, but we need a little break in between. So y'all, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. We could not do this without our wonderful viewers listening live and listening on the podcast. Thank you everybody so much for your love and support. We love telling this story for you. With that, I don't have any other channel announcements today. Go ahead, let's do our outros.
Reverse order. It'll be you, Sarah. Not you, Sarah, the other Sarah.
Oh, me? Okay.
It's you first, Jen.
It's you
isn't it?
first, Jen.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I'm gonna say, let me go last today.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay. I don't
All right.
trust you. Okay.
All right, I'm fine to go. Hey, everybody, it's me, Sarah, or Sarah Glut, depending on where you found me. This has been such a great experience. I cannot wait to revisit. It's gonna be great. Today, I am championing the Advancement Project. It is a charity that promotes equity and racial justice all across the U.S., from their offices in California all the way over to D.C. area. They do things from legal defense funds to public funding, research, you name it. They probably help with it in some way. So definitely check them out.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the season finale of our show here. I've been Velvet, favorite pronouns, and the cause that I chose to champion was the Trevor Project, whom, if you haven't heard of it before, does really fantastic work in making mental health services and other resources available to, LGBTQIA plus folks. It's a really desperately needed service, especially times being what they are now.
Hi everyone, I am and continue to be Emma, and just seconding everything everybody said, this has been amazing. You're wonderful, and yeah. And I am also famously not good with endings, so let's push on through that. I, as ever, am here championing Belfast Trans Resource Centre, the only trans-led transport organisation in the UK, currently serving Belfast and more of Northern Ireland as much as they can manage. With more support, they could actually expand that. And really, we need more support from people who actually know what they're talking about, especially at times like this. They do great work, and they've helped a lot of friends of mine, so go check them out.
You did, Sarah.
I said, oh, that's me, isn't it? Shoot. Hey everybody, normally I would be talking about the trevorproject.org. That is the charity that I give my Twitch income to every single time I get a payout. We actually just did a payout today. I posted the receipt to Discord. It was $154.07. Thank you so much, everyone who is a part of this community, who helps me make a tiny, tiny difference in the world every single time I receive one of these. I am so honored that I get to do that, and that is because of you all. Of charity I'd like y'all to know about is the Rainbow Railroad. They are another charity that I very much care about. They provide support to those living in unfortunate situations where they are being persecuted for either who they love, who they are, their gender identity. They will get you to where you need to go so you can live safely, openly, and be your true self. And they are a global organization that is doing that, and they are fantastic. Cannot recommend them enough. And also, before we go to Jen, I do want to say, for those of you who are still with us, we will be back for a wrap-up session. We are going to be doing a Q&A. So that will be October, what did I say it was going to be? The 15th?
15th? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 17th, October 17th. Saturday, October 17th. No, wait, hang on. I'm looking at September.
It is the 15th, I think.
Yeah. Saturday.
Yeah. The one that's a Saturday.
Look, I'm on the verge of crying. Brain is scrambled. Saturday, October 15th, because I'm going on vacation, so we can't do it next week. We will be returning as a table to answer any questions you all have for us about season 1, about the system, about what it was like to play with each other, about what our favorite food is as our characters. Anything you want to ask us, hop over in Discord, ask your questions, or tweet them at us, or, you know, send them snail mail to my P.O. box. You can do that too if you want to send a postcard with your question on it. If you want to put it in a bottle and throw it into Lake Erie and see if it can get to me that way, I would still put my address on it in that case. It might be a little bit slower than the snail mail, but you can do that too if you want.
Put it in my chat while I'm streaming, and then I'll forget to pass it on.
Yeah, feel free to send it to anyone in this cast any way you want. We will collect those questions. We will have questions for one another, but tune back in for that, and we will be talking about this wonderful experience with one another on that night. I think that's it. I think that's everything I need to say. I love you all. Jen, your turn.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I would like to thank you all for coming to this show. I have a great love for sci-fi, and Numenera fills that itch really well. And I've had a great table to DM for, and I've been truly honored to be their DM and to tell this story with them. So much so that we're coming back and seeing what the next steps unfold and see where it all goes from here. If I may. Epilogue.
You stage is yours, my friend. Go for it.
Epilogue. The curly red hair of a pale man stands stark against the blue sky. Beside him, a disconnecting form of his wife, the she who speaks, watches silently as 10 years pass and the Aberfell grows. Nathaniel, being a guide AI and Nate being a human, merges the 2 points of reality together. It is unsurprising to Nate and Nathaniel and she who speaks when the obelisk appears. Even more so when he hears the singing of the stones and witnesses the passing of the calling to Hyacinth. He's not surprised by this, because he brought the paradox. He exists to be a paradox. But his function's not over. He still serves as both human and AI. And 10 years is nothing to him. It's nothing to she who speaks, and he watches as the stasis world breaks into this reality. And he puts on a pair of sunglasses and simply says, "Well, Buttercup, our job's not done. We still have a bit more of a undoing to do, don't we?" As he turns towards his wife and squeezes her hand. Still a bit more to make sure everything goes right. Let's see if we can get that red virus into this world. As he starts walking across the desert lands. After all, we can't let all of her plans succeed.
Jen, no. I don't want to fight it again.
But thank you once again. And my charity of choice is the Little Princess Trust, a charity that provides free hair wigs to children with cancer and childhood diseases that causes hair loss. They're a good charity. I would check them out.
Oh, I'm screaming on the inside. All right, everybody, hang around with us for just a hot second. We are going to be rating Real Women of Gaming. They are playing Tankard's Tales and Treasures. Dungeons and Dragons. It's getting harder to talk. Y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.